What's up guys, Woody here, back with another MTGA deck video, another budget one, because that's what we're sticking with for now. I'm still kind of getting into the game, still building a collection, still playing lots of different archetypes, lots of different colour combinations. So as I'm learning the game, as I'm playing these new colour combinations, I want to bring you guys some deck videos or decks that don't cost an arm and a leg in terms of wildcards or mythics or rares to craft, but ones that can be competitive on ladder as well. Now, before we dive into the deck, a quick little kind of update on these videos. Firstly, a big thanks to everybody who watched or liked or commented or anything on the previous one I've done, the Aetherhub life game. I really appreciate everyone's feedback. And I'm changing the structure of these videos a little bit based on wonderful people's feedback. So what we're going to do is we'll go through the deck now. We'll spend like 5-10 minutes going through the deck in a bit more detail, because these decks are designed for, or these videos are designed for maybe slightly new players and more casual players who don't know all the combos. So kind of going through them in a little bit more detail. Then we'll go into some gameplay. We'll go through like maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 games that I'll record. And then we'll come back to the deck at the end and we'll look at upgrades. What I would recommend swapping out, what I would recommend putting in, based on whether you want to make it a little bit more aggressive, you want to make it a little bit more mid-game, maybe you want to make it less combo heavy and more control based. Like, there's not that this can be a full control deck, but that's the kind of things I'll be talking about at the end of the video. There are timestamps below, so if you want to know exactly when those are happening below. Also, the deck is linked below over on Aetherhub. And over on Aetherhub, there's a full guide written up as well on not so much how to play the deck, but what upgrades I'd recommend, what the deck's good at, what the deck isn't so good at. But anyway, let's jump into it, guys. Let's jump into it. And today we're looking at Selesnya Enchantments. I hope I'm saying that right, because I'm still learning the colour combinations myself. But Selesnya Enchantments, in Selesnya is white-green, for those who didn't know. So this deck is with Theros. There was a ton of enchantments come into the game. I was blown away by how many enchantments came into the game. And green-white got definitely some of the best loving. Now this deck can be super cheap, and it can be, well, super cheap in both terms of lack of rares to make this build now. But also on mana curve. It's very cheap on mana curve. And then it's also building it can be a nice like organic process in terms of as you unlock cards you can slowly build it. If you're running this deck as this build is now, we're going to be playing it on gold ranked ladder, so not that high up, but you could easily run through bronze, silver, gold probably with this deck, slowly adding cards if it's an archetype you like to play. The main idea of the deck is get your creatures down, buff them with enchantments, swing through, do tons of damage, simple as that. We have a low mana curve because a lot of our creatures, like our most expensive creature is Nylea's Forerunner, but that's only there for the trample. The Citizen Champion is the key staple of this deck. It's a 3 mana card that is only 1/3, but by mid game, by like turn 5, turn 6, we can have this card at around about anything from 10 to 15 up in terms of damage it can do. It's insanely ramp heavy when it comes to the potential this deck offers. And that's what we win games with, is using these smaller, lower mana curve, mana cost creatures and buffing them with cheap enchantments to make them big and powerful. And it's a fun deck to play. It is really fun when it works. Now, a reason I say when it works is because it is enchantment heavy. So meaning that your hand can sometimes end up having a lot of enchantments in the deck, in your hand. So you can sometimes struggle to find creatures. When that happens, it sucks. I'm afraid it sucks. But hey ho, it's card games. You can't guarantee good card draw. Otherwise, if you can, I want to play that game. Anyway, jumping into the deck, I'll try and get through this as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So, Alseid of Life's Bounty is a 1-drop lifelink. It's an incredibly good 1-drop because you can spend 1 mana, you can sacrifice Alseid's, and you can give any creature in your deck a protection against that colour until the end of the turn. So if your opponent's running mono black and they're trying to exile Citizen Champion, you can sack off, so you can pay 1 mana or land, you can sack off Alseid, you can give Citizen Champion protection against black. Their Eat to Extinction fizzles out, it's gone, and any other black spell they would play, or if they swing of a black creature, anything like that, it's protection. It can't take damage, it can't take removal, it can't do anything against the protection against that colour. So it even works against exile, which is pretty insane nuts, because it's not indestructible, it's just full protection against that colour. It's like hexproof against that colour, with the added stuff of combat damage. Karametra's Blessing is a card that you can put more of these in. If you haven't got other cards in this deck, running 3 or 4 of these is fine. It does make it more aggressive, So it's an instant to give target creature +2/+2 until the end of turn. If it's an enchanted creature or an enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible. It's very good to play on your turn. They swing in. You have our Seeds Life Bounty on the board. They swing in with a 3/3. You can go, cool, yeah, great. I'm going to throw Karametra's Wrestling on Alseed. You trade into their minion. It doesn't die because it gets indestructible at the end until the end of turn, and it's nice. It's nice. Let's say that. Sentinel Eyes is an incredibly good enchantment, guys. It's a 1-drop enchantment. It gives creature 1/1/1/1 and Vigilance. Vigilance meaning it retaps after it attacks, which is incredibly strong in this deck because you can get some really big blockers out there that will allow you to attack one turn and block the next turn. And the Escape mechanic is only 2 cards. Exile 2 cards from your graveyard, and then you can play it again just for 1 mana. It's a very good card to keep cycling. You can run more of these if you want to run more of these. I'm only running 2. Destiny Spinner is a card that I wouldn't run any more than 3 of, really, because it's very... As you grow your deck out, this becomes a sideboard card. Purely being because it's all about the main ability of creatures and enchantment spells you control can't be countered, meaning it shuts down Simic Flash deck, which is great straight away. So if you're playing a best of 3 and you're playing against someone who's running Simic Flash, you'd put these straight into your deck, all 4 of them, and then that way you completely shut down their strategy. I would still run probably 1 or 2, probably 2 when it's fully optimized, just because even though I'm not running a strict Simic Flash deck, they still have potential to run counter spells. And this would stop them from doing that. So it's a nice little thing, like a nice little creature. And also, do not overlook its other ability, guys. Target land you control becomes XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. I'm not kidding. You can use that ability on like turn 5, turn 6, and you can get a 7/7, 8/8 trample elemental land out on the board to swing with haste. It's a very good way of going for lethal. It's a very good way of pushing for lethal. Do not overlook the ability on the card. Order Glitters is a dumb card. It's very good in this deck. Enchant a creature, and that creature gets +1/+1 for all enchantments or artifacts you control, which is crazy good. This I've had this come down before and buffs a 6/6 on a card. It's silly good for two land. Yeah, very good. Season of Growth. Very good card in this deck. When you play a creature, you can scry one. It's always good having a bit of information to know what you draw next. Even better is when you play a spell that targets a creature you control, you draw a card. Anytime you play an enchantment that targets a creature you control, you get to draw a card. Meaning you play an enchantment, you draw a card. You play an enchantment, you draw... It's just nice. It's just a nice little cycle. You have 2 of these down. You play an enchantment, you draw 2 cards. It's as simple as that, guys. Citizen Training is a card. You can put more in if you wanted to put more in. Enchant creature you control... enchant a creature... When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Always nice. So if you've got Seasons of Growth down, you will draw 2 cards. Enchantment creature gets +1/+0. And it has Trample. This is, again, pushing for lethal. You've got something like Selesnya Champion down that's really buffing up. And you can put this down. It gets Trample. All of a sudden, they're little chump blockers. Maybe you put this down and you use Destiny Spinner's big land thing to buff up to a 7/7. Maybe you got like 8 damage here, 7 damage from that. Both with Trample. Swinging through the face. Like... Deal with that basically on your opponent. If you can do that turn 5, turn 6, which is possible, then you're putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. Dawn Envengirl is a card that I've been playing around with, running 4, running 1, running none. It's a weird card. Now I'll explain it first, and then I'll talk about when I'd run more of it. So, whenever a creature dies, if an aura you control was attached to it, return target creature with a converted mana cost of 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So it allows you to pull back the cheaper minions you can play. So at the moment in this current build, you're only pulling back Alseed and you're only pulling back Destiny Spinner. So you might be like, what's the point of running it? Well, both these cards are good anyway to have back in your hand consistently. It doesn't exile them, so you can keep looping it if you're running more of them. Or if they die again, you can keep looping it. But also, when we optimize the deck at the end with some other cards, there's a few more 2-drops. One in particular, Bronze Hide Lion, that we put into it. And it's a very good 2-drop card. So allowing you to cycle that round as well, all of a sudden it gets a lot more consistency. That's when I'd probably up it to about 3 running in deck. I don't know if I'd ever run 4, to be honest. Nyx Herald is a staple of this deck. This card is very, very good in this deck, guys. At the beginning of your combat turn, target enchantment creature or enchanted creature you control gains +1/+1 and trample. There's the key word we want, trample. So every turn you give, and you can buff it to itself. So you can make it so this guy's come down, this guy comes down. When he swings, if you don't give it to anyone else, he is a 3/4 with trample straight off the bat for free land. But he also synergizes with the rest of your enchantments. It's not legendary, so you can have several of them down. You can really buff stuff up, give them the trample to big minions. It can really, again, put pressure on that mid-game against your opponent. Selesnya Champion is the staple of the deck. As I said in the previous deck video of these, the idea of these being budget is we only run 4, maybe 5 rares in the deck, no mythics. All 4 rares in this deck are going straight into Selesnya Champion. We're running a full play set. Whenever you play an enchantment, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Selesnya Champion. That's not when it targets, okay? So if we play Omen of Sun, it gets a 1/1 buff. If we play Prism Realm, it gets a 1/1 buff. We play Banished Light, it gets a 1/1 buff. We play Sentinel Eyes onto Selesnya Champion, it gets a 1/1 buff from Sentinel Eyes, and then an additional 1/1 buff because the card's ability. This card, combined with something like All the Glitters, can end up, honestly, turn 5, turn 6, I've had this swinging for 16 damage with Trample. It's just, it's nuts. It's such a strong card. However, it is a little bit memey, it's a little bit gimmicky, it's a combo card, so if they remove this card, it can take a very long time for you to start building back up on your mid-game plan. So the idea is they can't remove this before you win. That's basically it. If they do, then it can get pretty slow. And Nylea's Forerunner is just there for... It's there because, one, it's a 5/3, turn 5. It gives a little bit more pressure late game. I'll say like mid-game. And then it has Trample mechanic. All other creatures we have Trample. Even something like Dawn, Endvangale, or Destiny Spinner can get buffed up with stuff like Sentinel Eyes and Karametra's Blessing. Which basically allows it then, with the trample mechanic, can really be threatening at the end there. And we're running 23 lands, slightly more in the green, because we've got slightly more expensive green package. Anyway, that's it, guys. We're going to jump over. We're going to run through some gameplay. And hopefully it goes all right for us. And then we can come back and look at how we upgrade the deck at the end. Okay, we're straight into a game. Lord Velt. Obviously, you can't see his name because my ugly mug is in the way. Okay, so we've got Catamara's Blessing. Nyx Herald's always good. We've got 3 lands. So we've got, I mean, we can play our whole hand, which is always good with land. Ideally, you want a Selesnya Champion, but you can't keep mulligan looking for one card you're running 4 of. We are going first, so we're going to keep the 7. There's no reason to mulligan this hand away. We can still play on curve pretty much the whole way through. We can swing through with this. We can block something with this using Catamara's Blessing to get a... Ooh. We can actually do now is we can play this, and we can actually attach this onto this to give it what we should have done. So I'm playing white, so the fact that I have the chance I have haste is a little bit small or low, because I was going to say, play double white would have meant we could have played Karametra's Blessing this turn if we needed. Okay, so they're going to play this. Nice turn, and we're going to throw down a plains, and we're actually going to play Nyx Herald. There's nothing in the graveyard we're going to pull back yet anyway. And this will be able to give this a buff even higher, and then just keep swinging through with the lifelink. We can just keep putting pressure on our opponent right now. Okay, so we do want a Selesnya Champion, because the later the game goes into Selesnya Champion, potentially the... I'm going to say the harder it gets, but it's definitely the slower or more difficult. But we've got another one. That's always good. We can throw this down. We can play this. We actually have Karametra's Blessing to protect ourselves as well. Next, we're going to put both onto this guy because he has a lifelink. I'm going to swing with both. Next, we hope they block one of them. We can throw Karametra's Blessing down on whichever one they block with. I'm assuming they would block with Bloodthirsty Aerialist. There we go. There we go. Just keep the pressure up. Nice. So we've still only got 3 land to play with. So even if we don't find our big combo card like Selesnya Champion, you can see how good these Nyx Heralds are in this deck. Buffing up, like, this guy here is just a 1/1, but having Sentinel Eyes on him is... Okay, so pride, mate. That's fine. Comes out at 3-3. I've got one land left untapped. Okay, we're going to throw this guy down. Just here. Next. And we can put a buff on you. Another buff on you. We're not going to... No, we're not going to attack with you. We're going to attack with these two because they both have vigilance. 7 damage. It looks like they're going to take the 7 damage. Brave by them, we could say. And we're going to actually throw this down. In case they remove something, we can put it back in our hand. So it's always nice. We have a lot of pressure on the board right now. The opponent, if they swing through with this, they leave it tapped unless they manage to play something like a Sentinel Eyes on it. So we're putting them on the clock a little bit here. So they're getting their little life ticking going now. The 4-4 swinging through. Do you know what? We don't need to block it. It's fine. We have more than enough life there. And that's not the best card for us to pull, to be honest. Good game, buddy. Oh, there you go. They're conceding there. There we go. That's how the deck can build up. The Nyx Heralds are very good at adding to your like early mid-game presence. Just 1/1 trample is huge to put on there. I could have buffed up the Alcid even further, or even just a Nyx Herald. It would have traded into the 5/5. It would have removed the 5/5. It would have stayed alive, and it would have kept doing the damage with trample. So it was a threat they couldn't deal with. Let's jump into another game. Okay, up now we have Fox. Yeah. Just Fox. Simple as that. Okay, so we've got a Selesnya Champion. We haven't got a green land. However, we have a nice card here, and ideally you shouldn't stay stuck with one mono, like with single color land. But we're gonna take the risk. We're gonna be bold and brave and beautiful, and we're gonna take the risk. We are playing first as well, which is always nice. I'm gonna throw this down and then this down. I hope we pull a green so we can play Destiny Spinner and then Selesnya Champion on curve. That's the aim of the game, people. Oh, we pulled another one of them. I mean, we can throw this out now, to be honest. And it will buff by 2 because it counts as itself. This is an enchantment creature, and it gives... And this is a 1/1 anyway. So we're doing 3 damage with lifelink. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, we'll just swing through, and we'll play Omen of Sun at the end of their turn. We leave our mana tapped up for now, so they might think that, hey, what are they untapped for? What can they do to us? So these guys are playing life game, maybe? Yeah, we go. Here we go. So we can throw Omen of Sun up now. No, this buffs up even higher. There we go. This lack of green is really hurting us. Like, really hurting us. We just swing with the 4. They kind of have to block it. We trade into it. We get the lifelink off of it. We end turn. We'll use the Scry ability at the end of their turn to Omen of Sun to try and find green land, basically. All we want is green land. We find green land, we are singing, and we're winning, and we're rocking, and we're rolling. This is an enchantment creature, this is an enchantment, so when I play this first, ooh, nice. We get to draw a card off that. Still not green land. Tap this. Yep, sacrifice it. We can find some green land. Can we? My golly gosh. We're not going to find any, are we? No, we are not. Wow, this is nuts. I mean, we're in a fortunate position that we have the life link. We have the life total over them at the moment, but we really need to find some green land soon. Otherwise we're going to be in trouble. There's no denying that. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we can put this in now. We can block with it, and we can throw this down onto it if we need to. Next turn, if we pull another piece of land, this can really start getting big. Livelink doesn't have tons of Okay, so we have trample to get through to this guy. Create 2 cat soldiers. Yep, that's fine.
True friends always stand by your side.
Yep. And our turn. Oh, Banishing Light. Banishing Light, people, is a good pull for us. That's a very good pull for us. I think we take the Pride. Or do we just take a Johnny? I think we just take a Johnny, you know. We have the life title at the moment. I think we just still do Johnny. There we go. Draw a card off it. We can now play Plains. It would have been nice to have Greenland, but hey ho, like, can't have everything you want to. We are playing more green in this deck than we are playing white, believe it or not, land wise, but this isn't an enchanted creature yet, so it doesn't get indestructible. It'll go to 6. They'll have to block with everything to, or just block with these 2 to kill it. I think we're fine on attacks for now. And we'll see what they do. We will see what they do. Whenever another creature you control in this battlefield, you control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Nice. Ping ping. This guy's going to tick up. All this jazz. We are literally like 1 land away from getting this thing nuts and getting our card draw going. So we're not in a bad position at the moment. They are tapped out, so we can actually... Wait, we don't kill it though, because we'll only go to 4. And it's not an enchantment, so I think we just take the damage. I think we just take the 6, you know. Yeah, we don't risk... Yeah, we're going to take damage. Take the 6. We get the 1 life link. This buffs up a little bit higher. And we draw some more white land. Meaning we can literally be playing 1. What do we play now is the question. Play this because we can draw a card off of it. There we go. That's what we wanted. Play this. Oh, we already played land this turn. We can play Prison Realms to then steal this. We don't need another Season of Growth. This starts buffing up higher and higher and higher. Doesn't have Vigilance, which this doesn't give it Vigilance either. So we're going to just save it on the block for now. Yeah. And hope they haven't got a way of removing it. And now we have Forest in our hand, we can actually start really getting stuff rocking and rolling. Next turn. So these, like I said, these are our that's fine. These are our removals. The removal plays into something like all my glitters, or all that glitters, and okay, so we played a green land. We throw down Seasons of Growth because this will give us card draw off playing enchantment. There we go. We play Nyx Herald, it's an enchantment. We don't want any more forest now, no, we're fine. So we draw cards. Then we go next. I'm going to buff this up. We'll attack. It's got 9 health. They can't do anything to block it. They can block it if they want to, but... Next. We save this in case they target with a spell and it gives it hexproof and indestructible. And there we go. So this is what I mean. Like, 1 turn it can go up massively. The ramp you can get on Citizen Champion in this deck is just silly, crazy, bonkers. And then this guy here giving it trample each turn is super, super cool. So we potentially have lethal next turn. I'm going to play now. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, another forest. Always handy. So we can play this. Yep, because it gives you vigilance. There's some lies over here. Oh my god. Let's game. We have all the glitters. So you can see now how dumb all the glitters is. There we go. Play again. I mean, you only got 31 on the board. It's fine. We're going to give trample to this one here. Then we're going to go attack. We should have actually left one open in case they have a spell. Just for Karametra's Blessing, basically. But so they don't kill us anyway, right? It hasn't got any. Nothing's got Death Touch. Kill that first. We'll get rid of one of those, and we'll get rid of. Probably Forerunner, to be honest. There we go. So that's just how big cards can get with this deck with all that glitters. All that glitters is silly strong in this deck. I mean, fair play for them to keep going, but oh, that is a good pull, isn't it? That is a good pull. Although we have creatures here, we're not worried by it. We have another Selesnya champion. And we're just drawing cards for fun now. Sense Lies. Vanishing Light on this guy. Put a forest down. And we'll put down this because it gives us protection against anything they might play. We're fine for land now. So you can see now just how strong Season of Growth is. Like, Season of Growth is silly good in this deck. We don't need land anymore, no. Like, it just gives us the massive hand advantage. It's insanely powerful. Resolve. And oh, cheeky, eh? Cheeky. My turn. I don't think there's much of a difference, I'm afraid, my buddy. We play this because it will give this trample and the +1 and a buff anyway because it's an enchantment. Don't need another forest. Oh, I'll play Hydra Growth on it as well. Pick it up. There we go. Nice. Cool. We can throw some training down on it now. Just got to make sure, you know. There we go. And we will... Next, we'll give it trample with this. All attack. 2 attackers. And there we go. Game. Game, people. That perfectly showcased just how strong this deck can combo. Okay, let's jump into one last game against Spurnax. Yeah, this is the last game, guys. See if we can showcase. Wow, we haven't got green land again. It's crazy. We are running more green land in this deck than we are running white. We just don't ever find green land. We go first. We're actually going to mulligan here because there we go. Green lands. Yeah, we can make that work. That's fine. We're going to sack off the Nylea's Forerunner, or in terms of we're not going to sack it off. We're going to put it at the bottom of the deck. We have one creature on turn on curve 3 or turn 3 that we can play. We can play Seasons of Growth. When Season of Growth comes in, we're going to scry because when Nyx Herald comes in, we're going to scry. We're going to keep 6, and this is going to go to the bottom of our deck. Yeah. We are playing first as well, so it's not the end of the world. I believe they took a mulligan as well, so they're going down to 6 as well. You know, make it a nice, easy game, even game. Maybe they're being polite and being like, "Oh, Joe, I don't need to mulligan," but okay. So we're finding land. I should have done that. Well, I'm such an idiot. I don't know why I done that. That was a misplay by me. I was going to play Forest to play Season of Growth. We're now a turn behind on everything, which is really bad for me. I apologise. Bronze-Eyed Lion. That's the card we are definitely be putting into this deck. Yeah, we should have done it the other way around. We should have played Forest. Could have had this out. We could play Nyx Herald this turn. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it was silly of us, to say the least. This is a really good card as well. Whenever this creature does come down here, draw a card. We don't want that anymore. We already have one in our deck. We're going to play this now. And this allows us to draw a card. Another plane, which isn't ideal, really. So this card is really good. Obviously, it's blue. It's blue-white. That's why we're not playing it in this deck. But it's a very good enchantment. Oh, Banishing Light. Banishing Light, you bugger lug. Okay. Bronze-Eyed Lion is a card we are. This when we go back and just look at the upgrades after this game. It's one of the first cards I'm going to tell you to put into this deck if you have the card. Oh, we're getting screwed out now, aren't we? We are getting screwed out now. This is going to be game, people. Yes. We haven't found our enchantments. We haven't. Sorry, I haven't found our creatures. I misplayed. I did misplay. I have to put my hands up and say I misplayed. I played Plain over Forest, which meant maybe that one turn, meaning that we were slightly behind. I could have played Hydra's Growth Fitly on it, and then Banishing Light would have made it different. It would still removed it, so it doesn't make a difference. We've got bad things. We've got Hydra on the block. You nasty person. You nasty person. They're one of these people playing this kind of deck. Look at that, 35 life. This is a hands up. We've lost. We're sorry. We're finding way too much land. We've got nothing to do here. We're going to say, do you know what? Our first 2 games went really well. The last game, you can see this is a good example now of how this deck can let you down because we are enchantment heavy. So if you don't find your creatures, yeah, like you watch the previous game and go, oh my god, they got a 30-31 Selesnya champion on the board. This deck's nuts. This deck is good. However, also with that said, the deck can really stumble over its own feet with the fact that, like what you saw there, where we didn't find the cards we really needed to find. But anyway, let's jump back over to the deck builder, and now we go through some upgrades that I would put into this deck. Okay, so we saw how the deck ran in that last game, and we saw how the deck ran overall. It's super, like, potential of ramping up with something like Audit Glitters on Selesnya Champion is nuts bonkers, and you saw how well Banishing Light and Prism Realm work as spot removal. They're more like temporary removal because they can be dealt with. So where we go on upgrades here, we have various options for upgrades to this deck. Now, first one that I run in the version that I play is Heliod. Now, Heliod is a funny card because he's an expensive card. He's a mythic. He's indestructible enchantment, so already you'll get in the buff off the enchantment. The devotion you don't. I mean, you might think, well, Devotion 5, how do I get that in this deck? All enchantments count as devotion. So getting the Devotion 5 is actually quite achievable, getting a 5/5 indestructible on the board. Whenever you gain life, you can put one counter on creature enchantments you control. That's again, not the main reason we run this. The main reason we run this is more for our mid to late game sustainability, where we can spend 2 land, so one that's plains, to get lifelink on a target creature we control. So imagine that game where we had 30, 31, or 30, I think it was 30, 32, sorry, 30, 31 Selesnya Champion on the board. If I tap 2 to then give it lifelink, we're gaining 30 life back. So if they do board removal, we have the card advantage. We then have the massive life advantage. Like, we are in a hugely advantageous position because of lifelink. So I wouldn't run more than 2. To be honest, I run 1 in my deck and 1 in the sideboard. And the only reason I run this in my version is purely because I want the lifelink on some targets. And that I could play something like Shadow Spear, but then it doesn't really play into the enchantments. This plays into enchantments. I play this as an enchantment and it comes in, I get the scry or I get the buffs, I get all the jazz that I want from an enchantment. And I potentially get a 5/5 indestructible swinging as well. So that's why I play this in the deck. Next card we're going to look at is a card that we just saw in the previous game, and it's Bronze Hide Lion. Do I not own this card? I think pretty sure I do own this card. Let's try and find it through this. Because there it is. Bronze Hide Lion. This card, Bronze Hide Lion, is a 2-drop card, so he links in with the Dawn Envengal. So it's already, you have synergy with that there. You can bring it back to your hand. Now, Bronze Hide Lion is a free 2-drop that you can spend 2 land. 1 has to be forest, 1 has to be plain. And it gains indestructible until the end of turn. So you buff this guy with enchantments, you can just give him indestructible, straight up indestructible. Combine that with something like Heliod, you can potentially, for 4 land in mid to late game, you give him indestructible lifelink, which is super strong, super good. So, this is the real big part of this deck, of this card. When Bronze Hide Lion dies, return it to the battlefield. It is now an aura enchantment with enchanted creature you control gains, spend the forest plains, indestructible until the end of turn. So you play this straight off when Selesnya Champion's on the board. It doesn't buff because it's a creature. It's not an enchantment creature. It dies. It comes back. Selesnya Champion then buffs by 1. You play it on Selesnya Champion. It is now Selesnya Champion that's buffed by 1 because you played an enchantment on there. Now it has also the ability to be indestructible. This card is like a very good card in the deck. The package as this here now is the budget package. This is probably the first card I would put into the deck. What would I take out of it? I'd probably put Destiny Spinner across the sideboard. I'd probably drop off 1 Alseid's Life Bounty into the sideboard. And I would probably kick off, probably get rid of the Nylea's Forerunner into the sideboard and play 4 Bronze Hide Lions in this deck. That would be the first change I would make straight away. Then next we'll go to Calyx. Calyx is a card that this is going to be your choice if you want to run it or not. I've played around a little bit with Calyx. I've only ran 1 when I have played him. Only partly because I only own 1. But Calyx is a Planeswalker. It's a 4-drop Planeswalker where you gain 1 loyalty counter and you look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them. Then put that card in your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in any random order. So it basically allows you to fish for enchantments. If you've got a very creature-heavy hand for some reason in this deck, you can fish for enchantments. That's never a bad thing. You lose 3 loyalty counters, and you can exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until enchantment creature you control leaves the battlefield. Pretty much like what Banishing Light does, but you can do it with anything. I could choose to put that on Selesnya Training. Now, until Selesnya Training leaves the battlefield, their creature that I've exiled remains exiled, much like Banishing Light, but it doesn't actually go to the side like an enchantment. Final one is, and this is a little bit nuts, I've never got it off. If you get up to 7 loyalty or 8 loyalty, you can spend 7 loyalty counters and you can return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yes, all enchantment cards. This is like nuts to go for. If Calyx builds up this high and you end up getting back like 2 Selesnya Lines, you get back a Selesnya Train, you get back potentially even get back like a Hydra's Growth, and it all goes on to Selesnya Champion. It's like tick, 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 tick. Also, enchantment cards count as enchantment creatures. So Alseid will come back, okay? So this guy here, I wouldn't run... I'd run 1. I really wouldn't run more than 1. Like, it's that kind of little cherry. It's that if you pull him and you get him going, great, good job. But you don't build this guy to rely in the deck. He's that added little spice that maybe, just maybe, you can find and get going in the deck to give it a bit more mid-game consistency, or like late game, if you get the 7 off, late game consistency, like bang on the board, there you go. Next we're going to go across to Siona. Siona is a very good card, and she's another card I would run only 3 of. The reason I only run 3 of her is because she's a legendary creature. You get 2 in your hand, you can't play have more than 1 on the board, so it's yes. But anyway, so when Siona, captain of Pyleas, enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards from your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. The reason that's important, or that's good, is purely because you're getting chump blockers. You're spamming these white soldiers on the board. They're great for chump blockers. They're great against aggro decks because you've got these chump blockers on the board. You can constantly just throw them out there to block into. Again, I would run 3 of her. She's very, very good. While we're on this page, the other obvious changes are put in lands. Now, I would avoid playing something like Temple of Plenty, where it allows you to scry 1. Only because Temple of Plenty is great after like turn 5. But where this has such a cheap mana curve, and you want to be playing to curve, if you're playing Temple of Plenty on like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, it's putting you 1 land behind on your curve. However, if you have Temple Gardens, where you pay 2 life, this is like, if you have 4 of these, put these straight in the deck. If you have 2 of them, put it in the deck. If you have just 1 of them, put them in the deck. Like, these are very good cards, and it gives you that more consistency that you're really going to need. Other considerations that you guys can put in the deck. Now, these are cards I've played around with, but I just want to mention them in case people own them, but they don't own the cards that I have recommended, or I've said that they should potentially play in the deck. And the first one is Transcendent Envoy. So Transcendent Envoy is an enchantment creature. It's a very good enchantment creature. It's flying 1/2. But what's more important here is aura spells that you cast cost 1 less to cast. Meaning stuff like All That Glitters is an aura. It only costs 1 planes to cast. Okay. Sensual Eyes doesn't cost any cheaper because it's a 1-drop as it is. Banishing Light is an enchantment, so it's not an aura. I'm trying to think what else. Hydra's Growth costs 2-drop to play it. You've then got other cards like Selesnya Training. It now costs just 1 green to play it, so it's a good card to play. I have played around with this card. I've had some good success with this card because you can buff it up as a flying creature. It is very good to run. I think I actually do run it in my more optimized package. I don't know why I didn't put it in the budget build, because it's a common. It's entirely up to you. If you have more of these cards, but you don't have, say, Dawn Envengal, or you don't have stuff like Alcid of Life's Bounty, you can put these guys in there. You're not gonna. It's not gonna slow you down or let you down having this card in the deck. And the other cards that you can run, if you want to, is Elspeth's Conqueror's Death. So this is an enchantment saga, where the turn 1 you get to exile a permanent your opponent controls, convert to mana cost of 3 or greater. Very good. Enchantment spells that your opponent casts cost 2 more to cast until that next spell. So non-creature spells. So again, that can slow them down, and it's really good. And then return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter or loyalty counter on it. So with this, you can be bringing back Selesnya Training with counters on it already. You can be bringing back something like the Destiny Spinner. If you're running Bronze-Hide Line, you can be bringing it back again, so you got the ability popping all over again. This is a card that I would definitely be running in a more optimized version. Probably only 2 of them. What would I be booting out to create space for the 2 of them? I'd probably be getting rid of one of the Karametra's Blessings, because I would like to build this more of a mid-range deck. This adds a lot more mid-range sustainability to the deck. Yeah, that's probably what I'd be getting rid of. Probably getting rid of the Karametra's Blessing, and maybe one of the Dawn Envengals. Maybe we'd have to see how the build was looking. These would be gone by now anyway. But that's the deck, guys. That is the deck. Hopefully the gameplay will show the deck off for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the deck. Definitely go give it a go. It's a lot of fun. You saw in game 2 just how fun this deck can be. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, guys, please let me know, because I'm new to Magic and I'm trying to get my footing in the ground. And if you find these deck vids informative, then I'd really like to know, because it makes me know that what I'm doing is right effectively, and I can keep going with it. So we're going to do these every Monday, Budget Mondays. We're going to be looking at budget builds. Next week we're going to look at a budget mono black devotion build, which I'm going to be working on this week. And as I build more of a collection, I will be doing more optimized builds, more competitive builds, maybe more janky meme builds. But while I'm learning the game, while I'm playing through these different archetypes with not a huge card pool collection, I want to be doing these budget ones. I'm going to keep these up because I also want to get new players or more casual players kind of the ability to climb rank and climb ladder with some fun decks. But anyway, thank you for stopping by, guys. Have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is where you are. Check the deck out. It is on Aetherhub, linked down below. And until next Monday, or unless you want to catch me over on Twitch, a link is in the description below. But until next Monday, guys, have a great one, and I will catch you all very soon. Goodbye.